the center cap off, use a straight blade screwdriver. Use a 22mm socket, take the lug nuts off. Pull the wheel off. These bolts are pretty rusty, so I'm just going to use some rust penetrant and soak those before I start. Before we take this nut off, we just want to mark this cam right here. This is for the alignment. When you go to put this back together, you want to put this in the same location so at least it's close. You're still going to need to get an alignment done afterwards, but this will get it a little bit closer. I want to get this ABS wire out of the way, or wheel speed sensor wire. Disconnect the connector up here. Just push up on that tab, slide it out, then use a trim tool. Just pull up on that retainer. You can do the same over here. And right here. Sometimes these ones break, just be careful. All right, so this piece is gonna break, so I'm just gonna disconnect it right from the arm itself and disconnect this right here. Sometimes you can use a screwdriver and just pop that out, or needle nose pliers also works. You just squeeze those together. I'm just gonna put some rust penetrant on this bolt right here. Let that soak a little bit. We want to take that off next. Let's remove this bracket. Use a 10mm socket. Remove this bolt. It's probably going to break. Yep, it broke. Well, hopefully yours doesn't break. And slide that off. Right, now we're going to take this nut off. Use an 18mm wrench. Now I'm going to leave this nut on just a couple threads, and then we're going to break this upper ball joint free from the knuckle. I'm going to use a pickle fork to break this free. Just slide it in between the ball joint and the knuckle, and just give it a hit. There we go. Take the pickle fork out and just push down on the upper control arm a little bit. You might need a pry bar. And take the nut off. And you can slide it up. And just make sure that there's not too much tension on the brake line, brake hose. I'm going to take a 21mm wrench, 21mm socket. Now this is old and rusty, so I just had to heat up that nut to break it loose. Normally you wouldn't have to do that. And loosen it up. That nut's pretty hot right now, so I'm just going to let that cool down before I take that off. Take that nut off. And see if you can pry this cam off. This is just the alignment cam. Just use a pry bar and a hammer. And just pry that off. All right, this cam bolt is stuck in there pretty good, so I'm just going to use some more rust penetrant, soak it down for a while. There we go. All right, get that out and do the same for the other side. All right, I'm just going to take this bracket out of the way. Just use a 13mm socket. And you can just slide it out of the way. Don't bend it too much. There we go. And just use a pry bar. And you can pry the arm out. And take the new control arm and just line it up. You can take a rubber mallet or a dead blow hammer, tap tap it in if you need to. And get the bolt started. And take this cam and the nut, get the nut started. Now tighten this up. Now we want to line that mark up. What you do is take your 21mm wrench and just move the bolt on this side so that lines up, and you can snug that down. And we'll do the same for the other side. All right, now we're going to torque this nut to 140 foot-pounds. Do the same on the front one. Take this brake hose bracket, reinstall that, put the bolt back in, and tighten that up. Take that nut off, put that aside. Get this lined up with the upper knuckle, and I'll use a pry bar. Just pry this down. Take the nut, and get the nut started. Right, now I'm going to use a 19mm ratchet wrench while I'm using the pry bar to pry down on the ball joint. Tighten this up. Right, now if you have the ability to torque this with a torque wrench, you can torque this to 37 foot-pounds. Do the best you can. And if the stud starts spinning, you can use an Allen key that's a 6mm hex key. But if you use the pry bar and you just pry down, you should be able to get that without having the stud spinning. Take this brake hose bracket and line that up. Put the nut on, or the bolt in, and snug it up. And take the wheel speed sensor wire and reconnect that. And then we have this holder or clip. Install that. Lock that in place. Reinstall this clip. Connect the connector. And push the retainer. Just gotta find the hole where it goes. There it is. And lock that in position. And take this fitting. Install that, snug it up with a 7mm wrench. And take a grease gun and give it a couple pumps of grease. What you can do is look at the boot, and as you're greasing it, once you see the boot start to move, and that's good enough. And put the wheel back up. Put the lug nuts on. Now I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a star pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. And just go around again, double check. Install the center cap.